Hello, everyone. This is Nanette Kennedy with Evolution Revolution and Humanities Team, and this is our weekly book discussion group. And we are reading Neil Donald Walsh's Conversations with God, Book 3, and we're on Chapter 21. And Linda, our wonderful reader, if you just want to start reading. Nice.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Okay, Chapter 21. This is Neil speaking. I don't want you to go. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm with you always, always. Please, before we stop, just a few more questions? Some final closing inquiries? You do understand, don't you, that you may go within at any time, return to the seat of eternal wisdom, and find your answers there? Yes, I understand that, and I'm grateful to the bottom of my heart that it is this way, that life has been created this way, that I have that resource always. But this has been working for me. This dialogue has been a great gift. Can't I ask just a few more questions? Of course. Okay, so is our world really in danger? Is our species flirting with self-destruction, with actual extinction? Yes. And unless you consider the very real possibility of that, you cannot avoid it. For what you resist persists. Only what you hold can disappear. Remember also that I told you about time and events. All the events you could possibly imagine, indeed have imagined, are taking place right now in the eternal moment. This is the holy instant. This is the moment that precedes your awareness. It is what is happening before the light gets to you. This is the present moment, sent to you, created by you, before you even know it. You call this the present, and it is a present. It's the greatest gift given you by God. You have the ability to choose which of all the experiences you've ever imagined you choose to experience now. You've said it, and now I'm beginning, even in my limited perception, to understand it. None of this is really real, is it? No, you're living an illusion. This is the magic show, the big magic show. And you are pretending that you don't know the tricks, even though you are the magician. It's important to remember this. Otherwise, you will make everything very real. But what I see, feel, smell, touch does seem very real. If that isn't reality, what is? Keep in mind that what you're looking at, you're not really seeing. Your brain is not the source of your intelligence. It's simply a data processor. It takes in data through receptors called your senses. It interprets this energy information according to its previous data on the subject. It tells you what it perceives, not what really is. Based on these perceptions, you think you know the truth about something, when actually you do not know the half of it. In reality, you're creating the truth that you know, including this entire dialogue with you, most assuredly. I'm afraid that will only give fuel to those who are saying, he's not talking to God, he's making it all up. Well, tell them gently that they might try thinking outside the box. They are thinking either or. They might try thinking both and. You cannot comprehend God if you are thinking inside your current values, concepts, and understandings. If you wish to comprehend God, you must be willing to accept that you currently have limited data, rather than asserting that you know all there is to know on the subject. I draw your attention to the words of Werner Erhard, who declared that true clarity can come only when someone is willing to notice. There is something I do not know, the knowing of which could change everything. It is possible that you are both talking to God and making it all up. Indeed, here is the grandest truth. You are making everything up. Life is the process by which everything is created. God is the energy, the raw, pure, raw energy, which you call life. By this awareness, we come to a new truth. God is a process. I thought you said God was a collective, that God is the all. I did, and God is. God is also the process by which all is created and experiences itself. I have revealed this to you before. Yes, you gave me that wisdom when I was writing a booklet called Recreating Yourself. Indeed, and now I say it here for a much larger audience to receive. God is a process. God is not a person, place, or thing. God is exactly what you have always thought, but not understood. Come again? You have always thought that God is the supreme being. Yes. And you have been right about that. I am exactly that, a being. Notice that being is not a thing, it is a process. I am the supreme being. That is the supreme, being. I am not the result of a process. I am the process itself. I am the creator. And I am the process by which I am created. Everything you see in the heavens and the earth is me being created. The process of creation is never over. It is never complete. I am never done. This is another way of saying everything is forever changing. Nothing stands still. Nothing is without motion. Everything is energy in motion. Your earthly shorthand, you have called this emotion. You are God's highest emotion. When you look at a thing, you are not looking at a static something that is standing there in time and space. No, you are witnessing an event because everything's moving, changing, evolving. Everything. It was Buckminster Fuller who said, I seem to be a verb. He was right. God is an event. You have called that event life. Life is a process. That process is observable, knowable, predictable. The more you observe, the more you know, and the more you can predict. That's a tough one for me. I always thought that God is the unchangeable, the one constant, the unmoved mover. It was within this inscrutable absolute truth about God that I found my security. But that is the truth. The one unchanging truth is that God is always changing. That is the truth, and you can't do anything to change it. The one thing that never changes is that everything is always changing. Life is change. God is life. Therefore, God is change. But I want to believe that the one thing that never changes is God's love for us. My love for you is always changing because you are always changing. And I love you just the way you are. For me to love you just the way you are, my idea of what is lovable must change as your idea of who you are changes. You mean you find me lovable even if I decide that who I am is a murderer? We've been through all this before. I know, but I just don't get it. Nobody does anything inappropriate, given their model of the world. I love you always, always. There is no way you can be that could cause me not to love you. But you will punish us, right? You'll lovingly punish us. You'll send us to everlasting torment with love in your heart and sadness that you had to do it. No, I have no sadness ever, because there is nothing I have to do. Who wouldn't make me have to do it? I will never punish you, although you may choose to punish yourself in this life or another until you don't anymore. I will not punish you because I have not been hurt or damaged, nor can you hurt or damage any part of me, which all of you are. One of you may choose to feel hurt or damaged, yet when you return to the eternal realm, you will see that you have not been damaged in any way. In this moment, you will forgive those who you have imagined have damaged you, for you will have understood the larger plan. What is the larger plan? Do you remember the parable of the little soul and the sun that I gave you in book 1? Yes. There is a second half to that parable. Here it is. You may choose to be any part of God you wish to be, I said to the little soul. You are absolute divinity, experiencing self. What aspect of divinity do you now wish to experience as you? You mean I have a choice? Asked the little soul, and I answered, yes, you may choose to experience any aspect of divinity in, as, and through you. Okay, said the little soul, then I choose forgiveness. I want to experience myself as that aspect of God called complete forgiveness. Well, this created a little challenge, as you can imagine. There is no one to forgive. All I have created is perfection and love. No one to forgive? Asked the little soul, somewhat incredulously. No one, I repeated. Look around you. Do you see any souls less perfect, less wonderful than you? As the little soul twirled around and was surprised to see himself surrounded by all the souls of heaven. They had come from far and wide throughout the kingdom because they heard that the little soul was having an extraordinary conversation with God. I see none less perfect than I, the little soul exclaimed. Who then shall I have to forgive? Just then another soul stepped forward from the crowd. You may forgive me, said this friendly soul. For what? Said the little soul asked. I will come into your next physical lifetime and do something to you to forgive, replied the friendly soul. But what? What could you, a being of such perfect light, do to make me want to forgive you? The little soul wanted to know. Oh, smiled the friendly soul, I'm sure we can think of something. But why would you want to do this? The little soul could not figure out why a being of such perfection would want to slow down its vibration so much that it could actually do something bad. Simple, said the friendly soul. I would do it because I love you. You want to experience yourself as forgiving, don't you? Besides, you've done the same for me. I have? Asked the little soul. Of course, don't you remember? We've been at all of it, you and I. We've been the up and the down of it, the left and the right of it. We've been the here and the there of it, and the now and the then of it. We've been the big and the small of it, the female and the male of it, the good and the bad of it. We've all been the all of it. And we've done it by agreement, so that each of us might experience ourselves the greatest part of God, for what we have understood, that in the absence of that which you are not, that which you are is not. In the absence of cold, you cannot be warm. In the absence of sad, you cannot be happy. Without a thing called evil, the experience of good cannot exist. If you choose to be a thing, something or someone opposite to that has to show up somewhere in your universe to make that possible. The friendly soul then explained that those are God's special angels, and these conditions are God's gifts. I only ask one thing in return, the friendly soul declared. Anything, anything, the little soul cried. He was excited to know that he could experience every divine aspect of God. He understood now the plan. In the moment that I strike you and smite you, said the friendly soul, in the moment I do the worst to you that you could ever imagine. In that same moment, remember who I really am. Oh, I won't forget, promised the little soul. I will see you in the perfection which I hold you now, and I will remember who you are always. That is an extraordinary story, an incredible parable. And the promise of the little soul is the promise I make to you. That is what is unchanging. Yet have you, my little soul, kept this promise to others? No, I'm sad to say I have not. Well, don't be sad. Be happy to notice what is true and be joyous in your decision to live a new truth. For God is a work in progress, and so are you. And remember this always. If you saw you as God sees you, you would smile a lot. So now, go and see each other as who you really are. Observe, observe, observe. I have told you the major difference between you and highly evolved beings is that highly evolved beings observe more. If you wish to increase the speed with which you are evolving, seek to observe more. Well, that in and of itself is a wonderful observation. And I would have you come now. Observe that you, too, are an event. You are a human, being. You are a process. And you are, in any given moment, the product of your process. You are the creator and the created. I am saying these things to you over and over again in these last few moments we have together. I am repeating them so that you will hear them, understand them now. This process that you and I are is eternal. It is always. It always was, is now, and always will be occurring. It needs no help from you in order to occur. It happens automatically. And when left alone, it happens perfectly. There's another saying that has been placed into your culture by Werner Erhard. Life revolves itself. Life resolves itself in the process of life itself. This is understood by some spiritual moments as let go and let God. That is a good understanding. If you will just let go, you will have gotten yourself out of the way. The way is the process, which is called life itself. That is why all masters have said, I am the life and the way. They have understood what I have said here perfectly. They are the life and they are the way, the event in process, the process. All wisdom asks you to do is trust the process. That is, trust God. Or if you wish, trust yourself, for thou art God. Remember, we are all one. How can I trust this process when the process, life, keeps bringing me things I don't like. Life, the things life keeps, like the things life keeps bringing you. Know and understand that you are bringing it to yourself. See the perfection. See it in everything, not just the things you call perfect. I have carefully explained to you in this trilogy why things happen the way they happen and how. You do not need to read that material again here, although it might do you benefit to review it often until you understand it thoroughly. Please, just on this one point, summarizing insight, please. How can I see the perfection of something that I experience not as perfect at all? No one can create your experience of anything. Other beings can and do co-create the external circumstances and events of the life you live in common. But the one thing that no one else can do is cause you to have an experience of anything that you do not choose to experience. In this, you are a supreme being, and no one can tell you how to be. The world can present you with circumstances, but only you decide what those circumstances mean. Remember the truth I gave you long ago. Nothing matters. Yes, I'm not sure I fully understood it then. That came to me in an out-of-body experience in 1980. I recall it vividly. And what do you remember of it? That I was confused at first. How could nothing matter? Where would the world be? Where would I be if nothing mattered at all? What answer did you find to that very good question? Well, I got that nothing mattered intrinsically, in and of itself, but that I was adding meaning to events and so causing them to matter. I got this at a very high metaphysical level as well, giving me a huge insight about the process of creation itself. And the insight? I got that all is energy and that energy turns into matter, that is, physical stuff, and occurrences, according to how I thought about them. I understood then that nothing matters means that nothing turns into matter except as we choose for it to. Then I forgot that insight for over 10 years until you brought it to me again earlier in this dialogue. Everything I have brought to you in this dialogue you have known before. I have given it to you before, all of it, through others whom I have sent you, or to those teachings I have brought you. There is nothing new here, and you have nothing to learn. You have only to remember. Your understanding of wisdom, nothing matters, is rich and deep and serves you well. I'm sorry. I can't let this dialogue end without pointing out a glaring contradiction, which is, you have taught me over and over that what we call evil exists so that we may have a context within which to experience good. You have said that what I am cannot be experienced if there is no such thing as what I am not. In other words, no warm without cold, no up without down, and so on. That's right. You've even used this to explain to me how I could see every problem as a blessing and every perpetrator as an angel. Correct again. Then how come every description of the life of highly evolved beings contains virtually no evil? All you've described is paradise. Oh, good. Very good. You really are thinking about all of this. Well, actually, Nancy pointed this out. She was listening to me read some of the material out loud to her, and she said, I think you need to ask about this before the dialogue is over. How do Hebes experience themselves as who they really are if they've eliminated all the negative stuff in their lives? I thought it was a good question. In fact, it stopped me cold. And I know you just said we didn't really need any more questions, but I think you need to address this one. Oh, okay. One for Nancy then. As it happens, it's one of the best questions in the book. Well, it is. I'm surprised you didn't catch this when we were talking about Hebes. I'm surprised you didn't think of it. I did. You did? Well, we're all one, aren't we? Well, the part of me which is Nancy thought of it. Excellent, of course. True. So your answer? Well, I will return to my original statement. In the absence of that which you are not, that which you are is not. That is, in the absence of cold, you cannot know the experience called warmth. In the absence of up, the idea of down is an empty, meaningless concept. This is the truth of the universe. Indeed, it explains why the universe is the way it is, with its cold and its warmth, its ups and downs, and yes, it's good and it's evil. Yet know this, you are making it all up. You are deciding what is cold and what is warm, what is up and what is down. Get out in space and watch your definitions disappear. You are deciding what is good and what is evil. And your ideas about all of these things have changed through the years, indeed, even through the seasons. On a summer day, you would call 42 cold. In the middle of winter, however, you would say, boy, what a warm day. The universe merely provides you with a field of experience, what might be called a range of objective phenomenon. You decide what to label them. The universe is a whole system of such physical phenomenon, and the universe is enormous, vast, unfathomably huge, endless, in fact. Now, here's a great secret. It is not necessary for an opposite condition to exist right next to you in order to provide a contextual field within which the reality that you choose may be experienced. The distance between contrasts is irrelevant. The entire universe provides the contextual field within which all contrasting elements exist, and all experiences are thus made possible. That is the purpose of the universe. That is its function. But if I've never experienced cold in person, but merely see that it is cold somewhere else, very far away from me, how do I know what cold is? You have experienced cold. You have experienced all of it. If not in this lifetime, then in the last, or in the one before that, or the one of the many others. You have experienced cold, and big and small, and up and down, and here and there, and every contrasting element that there is. And these are burned into your memory. You do not have to experience them again if you don't want to. You need merely remember them. Know that they exist in order to invoke the universal law of relativity. All of you have experienced everything. That goes for all beings in the universe, not just humans. You have all not only experienced everything, you are everything. You are all of it. You are that which you are experiencing. Indeed, you are causing the experience. Yeah, I'm not sure I really fully understand that. Well, I'm about to explain it to you in mechanical terms. What I want you now to understand is that what you are doing now is simply remembering everything that you are and choosing the portion of that which you prefer to experience in this moment, in this lifetime, on this planet, in this physical form. Oh my God, you make it sound so simple. It is simple. You've separated yourself from the body of God, from the all, from the collective, and you are becoming a member of that body once again. This is the process called remembering. As you remember, you give yourself once again all the experiences of who you are. This is a cycle. You do this over and over again and call this evolution. You say that you evolve. Actually, you revolve. Just as Earth revolves around the sun, just as the galaxy revolves around its center. Everything revolves. Revolution is the basic movement of all life. Life energy revolves. That is what it does. You are in a truly revolutionary movement. How do you do that? How do you keep finding words that make everything so clear? Well, it's you who are making it clear. You have done this by clearing up your receiver. You've tuned out the static. You've entered into a new willingness to know. This new willingness will change everything for you and for your species. For in your new willingness, you have become a true revolutionary, and your planet's greatest spiritual revolution has just begun. Well, it had better hurry. We need a new spirituality now. We're creating incredible misery all around us. That is because even though all beings have already lived through all contrasting experiences, some do not know it. They have forgotten and have not yet moved into full remembering. With highly evolved beings, this is not so. It is not necessary to have negativity right in front of them in their own world for them to know how positive their civilization is. They are positively aware of who they are without having to create negativity to prove it. Hebes merely notice who they are, not by observing it elsewhere in the contextual world. Your own planet, in fact, is one which highly evolved beings look if they seek a contrasting field. And as they do, they are reminded of how it was when they experienced what you are now experiencing, and thus from an ongoing frame of reference through which they may know and understand what they are now experiencing. Do you now understand why Hebes do not require evil or negativity in their own society? Yes, but then why do we require it in ours? You do not. That is what I've been telling you throughout this whole dialogue. You do have to live within a contextual field within which that which you are not exists in order for you to experience that which you are. That is the universal law, and you cannot avoid it. Yet you are living in such a field right now. You do not have to create one. The contextual field in which you are living is called the universe. You do not have to create a smaller contextual field in your own backyard. This means that you can change life on your planet right now and eliminate all that you are not without endangering in any way your ability to know and experience that which you are. Wow, this is like the greatest revelation in the book. What a way to end it. So I don't have to keep calling forth the opposite in order to create and experience the grandest version of the greatest vision I've ever had of who I am. That's right. That is what I've been telling you from the very beginning. But you didn't explain it that way. You would not have understood until now. You do not have to create the opposite of who you are and what you choose in order to experience it. You merely need to observe that it has already been created elsewhere. You need only remember that it exists. This is the knowledge of the fruit of the tree of good and evil, which I've already explained to you was not a curse, was not the original sin, but what Matthew Fox called our original blessing. And to remember that it exists, to remember that you have experienced it all before, everything that is in physical form. All you have to do is look up. You mean look within? No, I mean just what I said. Look up. Look to the stars. Look to the heavens. Observe the contextual field. I have told you before, all you need to do is become highly evolved beings, is to increase your observational skills. See what's so, then do what works. Hang on, I just need to cough. So by looking elsewhere in the universe, I can see how things are in other places, and I can use those contrasting elements to form an understanding of who I am right here, right now. Yes, this is called remembering. Well, not exactly. It's called observing. What do you think you're observing? Life on other planets, in other solar systems, other galaxies. I suppose if we gathered sufficient technology, this is what we might observe. This is what I assume the Hebes have the ability to observe right now, given their advanced technology. You said yourself that they are observing us right here on Earth, so that is what we would be observing. But what is it actually that you would be observing? I don't understand the question. Then I'll give you the answer. You're observing your own past. What? When you look up, you see the stars as they were hundreds, thousands, millions of light years ago. What you are seeing is not actually there. You are seeing what was there. You are seeing the past, and it is a past in which you participated. Say again. You were there, experiencing those things, doing those things. I was? Have I not told you that you've lived many lives? Yes, but what if I were to travel to one of these places so many light years away? What if I had the ability to actually go there, to be there right now, in the very moment that I am not able to see on Earth for hundreds of light years? What would I see then? Two me's? Are you saying that I would then see myself existing in two places at once? Of course. And you would discover what I have told you all along, that time does not exist, and that you are not seeing the past at all. That it is all happening now. You are also right now living in what in Earth time would be your future. It is the distance between your many selves that allow you to experience discrete identities and moments in time. Thus, the past that you remember and the future that you would see is the now that simply is. Whoa, that's incredible. Yes, and it is true on another level as well. It is, as I have told you before, there is only one of us. So when you look up at the stars, you would be seeing what you would call our past. I can't keep up with this. Hang on. There's one more thing I have to tell you. You are always seeing what by your terms you would define as the past, even when you are looking at what is right in front of you. I am. It's impossible to see the present. The present happens, then turns into a burst of light formed by energy dispersing, and that light reaches your receptors, your eyes, and it takes time to do that. All the white light, all the while that light is reaching you, life is going on, moving forward. The next event is happening, while the light from the past is reaching you. The energy burst reaches your eyes, your receptors, send that signal to your brain, which interprets the data and tells you what you're seeing. Yet that is not what is now in front of you at all. It is what you think you are seeing. That is, you are thinking about what you have seen, telling yourself what it is, deciding what you are going to call it, while what is happening now is preceding your process and awaiting it. To put it this simply, I'm always one step ahead of you. My God, this is unbelievable. Now listen, the more distance you place between yourself and the physical location of any event, the further into the past that event recedes. Place yourself a few years back, and what are you looking at happened very, very long ago indeed. Yes, it did not happen long, yet it did not happen long ago. It is merely physical distance from which was created the illusion of time and allowed you to experience yourself as being both here, now, all the while you are being there then. One day you will see what you call time and space are the same thing. Then you will see that everything is happening right here, right now. This is wild. I mean, I don't know what to make of all of this. When you understand what I've told you, you will understand that nothing you see is real. You are seeing the image of what once was an event, yet even that image, that energy burst, is something you are interpreting. Your personal interpretation of that image is called your imagination. And you can use your imagination to create anything. Because, and here is the greatest secret of all, your imagination works both ways. Please? You not only interpret energy, you create it. Imagination is a function of your mind, which is 1/3 of your 3-part being. In your mind, you imagine something, and it begins to take physical form. The longer you image it, and the more of you who image it, the more physical that form becomes, until the increasing energy you have given it literally bursts into light, flashing an image of itself into what you call your reality. You then see the image and once again decide what it is. Thus, the cycle continues. This is what I have called the process. This is what you are. You are this process. This is what God is. God is this process. This is what I have meant when I have said you are both the creator and the created. I have now brought it all together for you. We are concluding this dialogue, and I have explained to you the mechanics of the universe, the secret of life, of all life. I'm bowled over. I'm flabbergasted. Now I want to find a way to apply all of this in my daily life. You are applying it in your daily life. You cannot help but apply it. This is what is happening. The only question will be whether you apply it consciously or unconsciously, whether you are the effect of the process or the cause of it. In everything, be the cause. Children understand this perfectly. Ask a child, why did you do that? And the child will tell you, just because. That is the only reason to do anything. This is astounding. This is an astounding rush to an astounding ending to this astounding dialogue. The most significant way in which you may consciously apply your new understanding is to be the cause of your experience, not the effect of it, and know that you do not have to create the opposite of who you are in your personal space or personal experience in order to know and experience who you really are and who you choose to be. Armed with this knowledge, you can change your life and you can change your world. And this is the truth I have come to share with all of you. Whoa, wow, I get it, I got it. Good. Now, know that there are 3 basic wisdoms that run through the entire dialogue. They are these. We are all one. There's enough. There's nothing we have to do. If you decided that we are all one, you would cease treating each other the way you do. If you decided that there's enough, you would share everything with everyone. If you decided that there's nothing we have to do, you would stop trying to use doingness to solve your problems, but rather move to and come from a state of being, which would cause your experience of those problems to disappear and the conditions themselves to thus evaporate. This is perhaps the most important truth of all for you to understand at this stage in your evolution, and it is a good place to end this dialogue. Remember this always and make it your mantra. There's nothing I have to do, there's nothing I have to do, and there's nothing I have to. There's nothing I have to have, there's nothing I have to do, and there's nothing I have to be except exactly what I'm being right now. This does not mean that having and doing will be eliminated from your life. It means that what you experience yourself having or doing will spring from your being and not lead you to it. When you come from happiness, you do certain things because you are happy, as opposed to the old paradigm in which you did things that you hoped would make you happy. When you come from wisdom, you do certain things because you are wise, not because you are trying to get wisdom. When you come from love, you do certain things because you are love, not because you want to have love. Everything changes, everything turns around when you come from being rather than from seeking to be. You cannot do your way to being. Whether you are trying to be happy, be wise, be love, or be God, you cannot get there by doing. And yet it is true that you will be doing wonderful things once you get there. Here is the divine dichotomy. The way to get there is to be there. Just be where you choose to get. It's that simple. There's nothing you have to do. You want to be happy? Be happy. You want to be wise? Be wise. You want to be love? Be love. That is who you are in any event. You are my beloved. Oh, I just lost my breath. You have such a wonderful way of putting things. It is the truth that is eloquent. Truth has an elegance that startles the heart to its own reawakening. That is what these conversations with God have done. They have touched the heart of the human race and reawakened it. Now they lead you to a critical question. It is a question of all humanity. It is a question all of humanity must ask itself. Can and will you create a new cultural story? Can and will you devise a new first cultural myth upon which all others are based? Is the human race inherently good or inherently evil? This is the crossroads to which you have come. The future of the human race depends on which way you go. And if you and your society believe you are inherently good, you will make decisions and laws that are life-affirming and constructive. If you and your society believe that you are inherently evil, you will make decisions and laws that are life-denying and destructive. Laws that are life-affirming are laws that allow you to be, do, and have what you wish. Laws that are life-denying are laws that stop you from being, doing, and having what you wish. Those who believe in original sin and that the inherent nature of man is evil claim that God has created laws which stop us from doing as you wish and promote human laws, an endless number of them that seek to do the same. Those who believe in original blessing and that the inherent nature of man is good proclaim that God has created natural laws which allow you to do as you wish and promote human laws that seek to do the same. What is your viewpoint of the human race? What is your viewpoint of yourself? Left entirely to your own devices, do you see yourself as being able to be trusted in everything? How about others? How do you view them? Until they reveal themselves to you, one way or the other, what is your basic assumption? Now, answer this. Do your assumptions further your society in breaking down or in breaking through? Well, I see myself as trustworthy. I never did before, but I do now. I have become trustworthy because I have changed my ideas on the kind of person I am. I am also clear now on what God wants and what God doesn't want. I'm clear about you. These conversations with God have played a huge role in that change, in making that shift possible. And I now see in society that what I see in myself, not that something is breaking down, but something is breaking through. I see a human culture that is at last awakening to do its divine heritage, aware of its divine purpose, and increasingly conscious of its divine self. If that is what you see, that is what you will create. Once you were lost, but now you are found. You were blind, but now you see. And this has been an amazing grace. You have sometimes been apart from me in your heart, but now we are whole again, and we can be forever. For what you have joined together, no one but you can put asunder. Remember this. You are always apart because you are never apart. You are always a part of God because you are never apart from God. This is the truth of your being. We are whole. So know you are the whole truth. This truth has been food for the hungry soul. Take it and eat it. The world has thirsted for this joy. Take and drink of it. Do this in remembrance of me. For truth is the body and joy is the blood of God, who is love. Truth, joy, love. These three are interchangeable. One leads to the other, and it matters not in which order they appear. All lead to me, all are me. And so I end this dialogue as it began. As with life itself, it comes full circle. You have been given truth here. You have been given joy. You have been given love. You have been given here the answers to the largest mysteries of life. Now, there is now only one question remaining. It is the question with which we began. The question is not, to whom do I talk, but who listens? Thank you. Thank you for talking to all of us. We've heard you, and we will listen. I love you, and this dialogue ends. I am filled with joy, truth, and love. I'm filled with you. I feel my oneness with God. The place of oneness is heaven. You are there now. You are never not there because you are never not one with me. This is what I would have you know. This is what I would have you take at last from this conversation. And here is my message, the message I would seek to leave the world. My children who art in heaven, hallowed is your name. Your kingdom is come, and your will is done on earth as it is in heaven. You are given this day your daily bread, and you are forgiven your debts and your trespasses, exactly to the degree that you are forgiven those who trespass against you. Lead yourself not into temptation, but deliver yourself from the evils you have created. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen and amen. Now go and change your world. Go and be your higher self. You understand now all that you need to understand. You know now all that you need to know. You are now all that you need to be. You never were anything less. You simply did not know this. You did not remember it. Now you remember. Seek to carry this remembrance with you always. Seek to share it with all whose lives you touch. For yours is a destiny grander than you might ever have imagined. You have come to the room to heal the room. You have come to the space to heal the space. There is no other reason for you to be here. And know this, I love you. My love is always yours, both now and even forevermore. I am with you always, always. Goodbye, God. Thank you for this dialogue. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you, my wonderful creation, thank you, for you have given God a voice, a place in your heart. And that is all either of us have ever really wanted. We are together again, and it is very good.
Well, thank you for reading that.
Thank you, Linda. That was a tearjerker.
It was.
Yeah.
Tears of gratitude.
Yep.
Yeah.
And remembrance.
Yes.
And I think because it's already after the hour, we should discuss this next week. Because this is...
Yeah, and there's also the closing, too.
Yes.
There's also another couple of pages of closing.
Yep. And because there's a lot of complex philosophy, and there's a lot of deep stuff here. And at the same time, some of it seems simple. But I just think we need to discuss this all of next time.
Yeah.
And we may not even get finished with discussing it next time, because this is like I've got stars on all my pages. You know, it's like, and that last part, the Lord's Prayer turns into the children's prayer. My children who art in heaven, hallowed is your name. That is where all the hair on my arms were standing on end, and the tears were coming. Because it turns it around and makes it, well, I can't even say, I don't have words right now.
It returns us to our innocence.
Yes. Well, as usual, Linda, beautifully read.
Yes, Linda.
Yep. And Alton is blowing his nose, so I think it got to all of us. It was just beautiful. And I might even recommend reading the last couple of pages again at the beginning of the call next week.
Okay.
Because it's
do
so
that.
powerful.
And to read that prayer in the morning and before you go to rest at night.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. To memorize it the way we remembered other prayers. Okay, everybody. I love you all.
I love you all.
And we will see each other
in the field.
In the field. Okay. Bye-bye.
Next week.
Next week.
Bye-bye. Have a good week, everyone.
Yep. Bye-bye, everybody.